rolling.
Hi.
So why don't you let the viewers know your name, your occupation, and then where you reside.
Okay, my name is Coach Yoly. My occupation is I'm a lifestyle and wellness coach, holistic wellness coach. I am the owner of a boutique private wellness center in San Diego.
Very cool. And then this actually comes from a viewer request of wanting to get to know our stories better.
Right.
So as you know, a host of Sad to Savage, why don't you fill the viewers in a little bit about you, your history, a few significant moments in your life that kind of make you who you are, Coach.
Okay, I would say the first significant part of my life was when I was 10 years old. I lost one of my siblings. So I remember sitting in class, I was in the 5th grade, and my teacher pulled me out of class, which I thought was rather odd because I was a straight up nerd. I literally was called teacher's pet, and I used to sit right by her desk.
I couldn't possibly have been in trouble.
So I was like, why she called me outside? I'm her favorite. But anywho, so she tells me to come into the hallway, and she's like, I got some news I have to share with you. And she told me that my brother had passed, that my mom called the school to tell me so they can take me out of class. And I remember saying absolutely nothing, and I said, can I go back in class? And she said, do you hear what I just said? And I said, yes, I heard you. And she was like, all you have to say is, let me go back in class. And I was like, yeah. Now, to most people, that probably sounds like, well, wow, you didn't have any reaction. It wasn't that I didn't have a reaction. The thing was, I was very used to holding it together, just even as a child. So I felt like my teacher going back into the classroom and saying to the rest of the class that my brother had passed would make me look weak. So I didn't want her to say anything, but she ended up telling the class. They ended up buying me like flowers. They sent flowers to the funeral, which was very sweet. But even back then, I was very much so what I am today, which is very stoic, didn't show much emotion, and I dealt with my brother's death in a very private way, which I would say made me the person I am today. The takeaway from that was you have to allow yourself to show emotion, be vulnerable. Everybody is not out to kick you when you're down. And my classmates really they kind of rallied around me, and they were very sweet, very supportive, which I was very surprised because we were kids, but they were so understanding.
And do you think that the way you dealt with it as a child, not that it was intentional, but just the way we deal with things, the way that we battle grief, do you think that impacted you in your adult years?
I do, because growing up in my house, my mother, she was a single parent, and she was much harder on the girls than it was the boys. I don't know why, but she was. So I never seen my mom cry. I never saw her break down. So I figured I needed to be the same way. So that's how I behaved. Very stoic. Thank you for your concerns. And pretty much I moved on with life.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then when you got older, was that something that you noticed right away yourself, or did other people have to bring it to your attention?
I noticed it myself, but I also had other people tell me that I didn't show any emotion. And the reason why I say that is because in my adult life, when I was about 25-ish, I lost my sister. She died of AIDS. So for me, I was like, wow, I'm not even 30 and I lost 2 close people to me. And the first one, my brother died. It was some complications, and it wasn't like something we saw happening. But with my sister, it was very crazy because she was a very outgoing person. She just signed a recording contract to make a gospel album. I come from a very musical family, so my sister was very musically inclined. So she was taken away from us when she was 31. So for me, I'm like, wow, can I have a upbeat in this? I hope I don't lose another sibling or whatever the case may be. But even then, we were going through the process for the funeral arrangements and everything, and I just kind of was dead on, Again, no emotion. And then at her funeral, I remember I was standing in front of the casket and I literally froze. I didn't move left, I didn't move right. It took my mate at the time to like kind of move me along and say, hey, you're not moving. He had to like move me.
It was like an open viewing casket, so people are like
yeah,
waiting.
People are waiting to walk through, and I kind of froze. I was trying to move, but my body,
for whatever reason.
Yeah, I was trying to like keep going, but my body wouldn't let me get back to my seat. So that's when I realized you got to deal with this in your adult life. You have to sit down, you have to mourn, you have to say how you're exactly feeling, and allow other people to know that, hey, you're hurting. Mm-hmm. So once I started doing that, that's what led me to my current life, which is fitness. Because I went through a very quiet period where I stopped eating, I didn't work out, I just was like really sad. But I would go to work like nothing was happening. And so it led me to my current life, which is bodybuilding. Because I was like, she's not here, she's not coming back, neither is my brother. So what can you do to feel better? So I jumped back into what really made me happy from when I was a kid, being an athlete, working out. And I set my mind to do a show one year. And I was like, okay, this is my first show, and my first show led me to many shows, which led me to become a pro athlete.
And by show, you mean like fitness competition? Fitness
competition, bodybuilding competition, strongman events, things like that. And before you know it, I was a pro athlete. So I think it all turned out to be great. From the bad, the catalyst was me turning into this person for health, wellness, fitness, holistic wellness, where you take something bad in your life and you turn it into something really beautiful. Like a butterfly, for instance. It starts out in this ugly cocoon, and then it turns into such a beautiful animal, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah, so.
And from, dealing with the grief of losing your siblings, finding that your passion helped you develop in that and develop in yourself and in your own truth, at what point do you think that, for other relationships, whether it be romantic or not, friendships and things of that nature, at what point do you think it started to kind of alter your reality and like, okay, now I'm good, how does this affect how I deal with other people? How does this affect my relationships?
I would say like in my early 30s, I came to a point where I was like, I don't really care what other people think or say. I need to live my life, because when I hit 30, I was like, okay, next year I'm gonna be 31. That was the same time around when I lost my sister. So I was like, live now, laugh now, love now. If you do it now, you won't live with regrets. So that's my biggest thing. I don't live in regret land. Whatever happened last year happened, but I wanna move forward. I wanna be happy. I wanna love. I wanna just be in the moment. Being in the moment is really, really critical. I feel like too many people take time saying, oh, what I'm gonna do in the future. I'm like, no, live right now, because you don't know if you're gonna have the future.
And that was kind of your transition from sad to savage.
Yeah, that was my sad moments with an S to my savage moment with plural S's. Yeah.
All right. So with your, holistic wellness and having your wellness center and doing the things that you do, and as far as being a professional athlete, what would be one of the most significant moments throughout your career?
I would say the most significant moment is when I won my pro status. So I literally snuck off to Costa Rica by myself to go get my title.
And what does pro status mean for people?
Pro status mean when you're coming up through the amateur ranks of bodybuilding, you have to go to national shows to qualify as a professional athlete. Meaning, like, how the NFL, the NBA, they all have professional status. They all carry professional cards. I have one of those. But in order for me to do it, I had to get to a certain level, which is, for bodybuilders, you have to get to a level 6 show. You have to have enough shows under your belt, get to a level 6, win the level 6 to turn pro.
Card.
Yes.
Okay.
And they only give away 1 card in each category.
Okay.
So, but this is only done 6 times per year.
Okay.
So you really you're going to, like, people all around the world are coming for that one card. So for me, I took a little break for a while because I was like, I didn't really know if I wanted to do it. And plus I love coaching. So I was like, okay, if I get it, great. If I don't, no big deal. But then this opportunity presented itself, and it was like, okay, but you got to go to Costa Rica to do it. So I told my clients very privately, listen, Coach got to leave for a bit. I'll be back Monday morning. And they were like, where are you going? I was like, tell you when I get back. So I jumped on the plane. This is so crazy. I went and got my passport that I never had before.
Oh wow, like a day.
Like in a day. I sat down in Miami. I was like, okay, I'm not going anywhere. I sat in the parking lot of the place. I stayed there for hours. I went and got me some food, came back. They were like, your passport is ready. Got it, booked the flight, went to Costa Rica the next morning, got down there. It was like over 1,000 competitors. And then I find out I opened the show.
Oh, wow.
So I was like freaking out, right? And on top of that, guys, I don't want to gross you out, but I get my psycho on the very moment I'm getting ready to walk on stage.
The pressure is
I was
on.
like, are you serious? I didn't come this far to have all this happen. So in my mind, I was like, you have been through so much in your life. This is not going to stop you. You're going to be up there. You're going to be fabulous. So I went to the bathroom. I did a little prayer. I had my little amethyst and my citrine with me. I stuck it in my outfit, in my little fitness costume. And I was like, you're going to go out here and you're going to rock it. You're going to kill it. And that's exactly what I did. I came home with a trophy bigger than me, a crown, my little pro status card. And I was like, yes, I finally did it. And I was like, off my bucket list, moving on with life. But it's so crazy because I didn't really care about doing it anymore. I didn't care about becoming a pro. I was more concerned about being a coach and getting other people to their pro status. But opportunity presented itself, so I did it. Yep.
Very cool.